So I've just been talking about how to give yourself basically the same consideration, care and nurture that you would give others around you. And really that is a fabulous foundation stone to success and a fabulous way to consider how our energy and how to increase our energy. Because if you think about it, if we're scattering out all this energy to others' needs on a whim, at short notice, that's a lot of energy going out there. And if we're not balancing that by recouping our own needs, that's where the energy imbalance comes in. So that's what we're looking at, is how to receive and how to nurture ourselves and not to be afraid to ask. And I think sometimes we get into situations where we're so used to squashing down our needs that becomes an expectation and of the others around us, and we need to firstly retrain ourselves in our expectation and help them to retrain their attitudes to us, to give us more respect. It's about us respecting ourselves and our needs and helping the other people around us do the same. They would not, the people around you love you, but they are used to you serving a certain function, and if you're asking for a little bit more support and less giving out all this energy, of course people love to receive stuff like that. There may be a little resistance, but it's just patience. It doesn't have to be a big conflict, and just starting to reclaim the ground and reset the boundaries. Okay, so that might be something for you to look at this week. Observe the people around you when you ask for a little more. What happens? Do they emotionally blackmail you? Do they say yes and surprise you and say they're happy to help and they're glad that you've asked? You're not. Sometimes we can be like projecting that it's going to be a negative response, when actually somebody would be glad. And I think one of the people we maybe do this to a lot are our partners. And I have been observing this statement: when a woman wants to have some time for her and she says, the guy, the husband, the father, babysat, or it's like some big deal that needs to be talked about. And I did that. I went down that lane of thought as well. It was like, because he's the guy and he works and he's got that, and then it's like he's doing me a favour by taking the children on for a few hours so I can, and it's usually go and do something, work or something like that. They're alleviating us. But I have to challenge that now and think, really, sometimes we're shutting them out from having a more real relationship with their children, because we're there doing it, and we've got in the nurture and the groove, and then they step back and they can lose that connection. So it is like a job, because they're kind of on the outside of it. And by giving them a bit more and just stepping back more and being less controlling in the situation, it can give us the time and energy we need, and it can help strengthen their bonds so they're more keen to step up and not treat it like a babysitting job or doing us a favour. They are 50% parent, but it's a combination of both of us, I think, sometimes, that stops that process. And it's good to review it and just gently start working with that too. So that might be something that's of interest to you to look at. And we know he works hard and he's tired and all the rest of it, but get creative, I'm feeling, to get him involved, to get, and it's huge. It would be great for bonding, and it's good for us to give up control and to take our energies and bring them back to ourselves and the things that we want to do for ourselves. When we want to do things and we're not giving ourselves this consideration, and we're doing it on top of everything else we always do, it can lead to energy drain and burnout. And I can speak from massive experience of this, and I really am passionate about doing this course, about getting energized for success without the burnout, without getting ill or without being ill, because I have been down that route so many times before. And I think this can paralyze us from trying to move forward, because I think if I put all that energy out and try and do this thing for myself, I will collapse. It is a limiting belief in a way, but sometimes unless we change up how we show up in the world, and the kind of consideration we give to ourselves, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I did it repeatedly over the years, over the child years, when I wanted to achieve things. I would get so far with it, but because I really wanted to achieve the things and get the success and go places, I would throw all this energy in, and I would work out of hours when a 24-hour day. Like my youngest son, he completely had me sleep deprived. He only ever slept at any time in a 24-hour days for 3 hours. That was the longest he ever slept, and that was between 12 midnight. This is when he was, say, under 5. This happened till he was at least 3 and started to ease off by the time he was 5, but he still just didn't sleep much. But he'd sleep from 12 midnight to 3 a.m. and everything around that was power naps. And there would be when he was in the car or the buggy, but as soon as the car or the buggy stopped, he'd wake up. And he was relentless, energetic, and he was a boy, so he was I completely had to monitor him all the time. I could not relax at all. My eyes were going different directions. So that was massive. But how I achieved things was by squeezing things in out of hours. Instead of taking the time to rest for me to take nutrition, I would be striving, because I wanted that connection with my creativity, with the outside world, with my mission. I didn't want to lose my sense of self, but it meant I was like putting in this extra, and I had the drive and motivation to do it because that felt important, but I wasn't balancing it up with rest. I was basically a workaholic, and every so often I would crash and crumble in a burnout or a massive health issue. That's how it internalized. So when my son was 2, I crashed with a major health incident of arthritis, which completely shocked me, because of course that is associated with being an elder. And of course it just made things even harder, because I had lost the use of my hands. They swelled up, my wrists were so painful, and everything you do with a toddler, as you know, is hands-on. And my hands were in pain, they were swollen in the morning. I had to put them in boiling hot water, as hot as I could stand, just to get them moving, to get the swelling out. And I virtually was crying, putting car seats on, or just dealing with any knocks from toddlers at that point. And so, that's a big message to me. And I had things like that happen throughout. But I just felt still it was important to keep that connection. And, I achieved so much, but in retrospect, I soaked up a lot of that in my health and my energy too. And so I'm passionate about this course, at looking at ways that women can get that energy and that success and keep that connection, that soul mission, without harming themselves. And in fact, with growing with love for themselves and, and for the people around them.